Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller.
I'm Gav.
And today we are doing our way too early NBA award predictions. So let's get straight into it. Let's start with MVP. Who do you have winning your MVP this season?
Yeah, and I think this is very long overdue from previous seasons where maybe they haven't got the best seed, but I think Luka Doncic finally wins his first MVP. Last year he averaged almost 35 a game, 34 a game. A lot of that people kind of didn't really realize that because we're just kind of used to it.
Yeah.
Another person who obviously has an MVP already, but Embiid averaged around 34, 35 when healthy.
Yeah. He won't be healthy.
No. But for Luka to do that, and obviously he would have won the MVP if it was a full season award, because from an individual standpoint, I mean, he took a team who, without him, is pretty.
Yeah, they're not a
playoff team.
Yeah,
and took them all the way to beat really good teams. I mean, the Thunder, the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
I mean, in the finals, he was hooping. It just kind of was like his defensive and whatever. His team just wasn't better than the Boston.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
Yeah.
But his last season truly impressed me for him to take them all the way. Because I thought we were about to get into a rhythm of Luka conference finals and exits, like almost Harden like.
Yeah.
And he beat my Harden expectations. And he has, you know what I mean?
He's got past that.
I would definitely say Harden. I would definitely say Luka Doncic.
I'm going to give it to Shea.
Yeah.
And it's not really about what Shea, like what he does so well. It's more about what I think is going to happen to some other MVP candidates. So like you said, Joel Embiid, he won't be healthy during the regular season. Giannis, I don't think he'll be healthy during the regular season enough to win this award. Jokic, I think there's a little bit of voter fatigue there. So I don't see him getting, what is this, fourth MVP?
4. Yeah,
I don't see him getting that this season. And then Luka was that second guy for me. But there might be like a kind of how it's like a Super Bowl like funk in football. I feel like there might be a little bit of funk in Dallas, and he might not be playing up to par because they're still focused on getting back there instead of actually taking it day by day. With the Thunder, I just feel like they're gonna end up as a number 1 seed. They're gonna be one of the teams with either them or the Celtics are gonna have the highest record in basketball, and Shea is gonna be the best player on that team. So, and he's gonna average his 31. So that'll be enough.
Yeah,
and I think
Shea
he'll
was
get it.
my runner-up, and I contemplated back and forth because I think Luka's team will not have, unless the Klay Thompson fit is as good as I think it'll be. But Luka will not have the seed; he'll have the 4 or the 5.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm interested in with Shea is, will he, in a sense, sacrifice points and maybe he might have more assists. He might have more and because we know he can get 30. He could probably get 34, 35.
Yeah.
But will he? You know what I mean? Or will Hartenstein, Chet, J-Dub, all of them just take a bigger role and Shea maybe average 28, which is still top in the league.
Still good, yeah.
But it's the same as some of these other guys, and they'll have more rebounds, assists, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it'll definitely be interesting. I think the thing that Shea brings to the table as well that people don't talk about, and I guess they just don't care about MVP wise unless you're the best in the league, is he's he's a really good defender.
He leads the league in steals. Yeah.
So it's all about what the voters care about. It seems to change from time to time, but that's all I would have for MVP. And a sleeper I have is Jalen Brunson. The only reason why is because he'll be the best player on a team I think will have the best record in the NBA, possibly, if the Celtics don't get it, simply because they have 7 guys who are going to play the entire game.
My sleeper would be Wemby.
Yeah.
Because I can see a world with Chris Paul, Sohan. If they really take that jump and they get a 6 seed.
I was about to say, I don't know if they're giving a 6 seed person.
Yeah, and I don't think they will, which is why he's my sleeper. But I can see a world where it does happen.
I would say my sleeper in the West would be Wemby, and in the East it would be Brunson.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Very fair. All right, next pick, we got Rookie of the Year. Who do you have winning that?
So for me personally, and I've stated this multiple times, and I still, and rightfully so, I guess, but not really though, Montes Buzelis.
Okay.
I'm really high on him. I think he went to the perfect spot. They're losing DeRozan, so they're losing a lot of scoring there. This kid was the number 1 player in the country out of high school.
Yeah.
He went to G League Ignite, and maybe the only thing I can say is maybe his shooting splits weren't as great.
Yeah, his stock dropped,
but he's still a 6'11" and 6'10" and moves.
Put the ball on the ground and I don't know. He's a great player.
Like just watching him, especially in this weak draft class.
Yeah.
Compared to others, it's like before the draft, I was saying, he's one of my I was like, dang. Like, there's a lot of teams who could get. And I didn't even think
he was going to fall to 11.
No,
I thought that was pretty far.
I thought it was a steal to get him at 6.
Yeah,
and I thought, unless you would have gotten Klingon, I thought it was a no-brainer for the Hornets.
Yeah, for every team after 6, honestly. So
I'm like, because LaMelo hasn't shown, and even if you do, he's a forward, so you can still play with him. But bro, he could be a star. And once again, he's in Chicago, so the only person I could say that really will be taking the ball from him, because Kobe White can play off ball.
Yeah.
Only person I would say needs the ball is Giddey. But once again, I think if he shows,
I think he can be good off ball too, though.
Nah, I think because he can cut, he can post, he can get into Barclays, he can get into so many different actions with his size.
Yeah.
So, that's my pick for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that's my pick too, but I'm going to throw one out there. I'm going to go with Alex Sarr.
Okay.
Obviously, he had the 0 for 13 game, whatever it was in the Summer League.
I don't care.
We don't care about that.
I don't care about that.
He is literally in the best position to win Rookie of the Year, in my opinion, out of any team on that Washington Wizards with Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole, who might be taking some shots, but I think Alex Sarr in that system is going to be just fine. I think that game is, making people overthink, making people have recency bias, but this guy's a good prospect.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine.
He'll be a good defender as well.
Yeah, I think he was my favorite player coming into this draft. So
yeah, I would have drafted number 1 just from what I saw.
Exactly.
Other than, even though I was really high on Buzelis, but I guess that would be a risk at 1. But still, though.
Yeah.
I really am I've never been so confident in a player for some reason, especially because of the fit of a player.
Yeah.
Unless I'm just completely wrong, I can't wait to look back in 3-4 years and be like, I called it.
Buzelis?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I think in 3-4 years he'll be,
because he went to the right spot. If it doesn't,
and DeRozan leaving was just perfect timing. I think I'm gonna be right about this kid. He's good.
Yeah, we'll come back to this
for sure
in a couple years. Next pick, 6th man of the year. Who you got?
So me personally, I have Russell Westbrook.
Okay,
and I keep talking about this, and obviously it's speculation. I haven't watched them practice. I haven't seen the fit at all. I haven't seen a preseason game. They haven't played it. But I remember watching Jokic with Bruce Brown. And Bruce Brown, really, he would have moments where he would rock out when he was hot, but he was just one of the best cutters in the league.
Yeah.
We were really talking, we never really gave a player props for that.
For cutting.
Yeah, bro, he's one of the best cutters in the league.
Yeah.
And the way Jokic has improved Aaron Gordon, and the way he improved Bruce
every player
Brown,
he's been around, honestly.
I can only think of when I used to watch Harden dribble, drive, and Westbrook cutting baseline.
Yeah.
I'm thinking dang, Jokic in a post.
Yeah.
Westbrook cutting. I think it's just, I don't know. All of a sudden, I've never been a Westbrook fan. Prime Westbrook, when it came to playoffs, I still was not I was still a fan, but I was not you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That wasn't my guy. I'm going to be excited to watch Russell Westbrook play with Nikola Jokic this year.
Because of Nikola Jokic, I presume.
Obviously because of Nikola Jokic, but it's going to make me happy. Dang, Westbrook kind of, you know what I mean?
Playing good. He found a role.
He found a star that fit with him that I wish, dang, maybe what if they paired together in their prime or something, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Or just not even prime, just later prime, you know?
Yeah. I'm going to go with Dante DiVincenzo. And the reason I'm going to go with him is because, first off, he was averaging 20 in the playoffs last year, easily. But this is a team that really, they have 6 players that are starting caliber. So they have, obviously, Mikal Bridges. They have, who is their big? Again?
Okay, so another thing I was going to ask you. You would take him over Josh Hart?
Because, and that's the thing, there's a lot of, does Mitchell Robinson start?
Yeah.
Does Julius Randle start?
I think so. Julius Randle starts. They both do.
Yeah.
So, I actually saw this today.
But DiVincenzo's gonna get more buckets than Josh Hart.
Nah, they get more buckets. Josh Hart with the rebounds. You know,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It'll be interesting because Randall should play the 5 for spot minutes. I don't think that should be the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Like, that might be a good closing lineup.
Yeah.
But to start the game, Mitchell at the 5, Randall at the 4, OG Anunoby at the 3, Mikal Bridges as your 2.
Do you like that?
Which is interesting. I mean, defensively, that's
a monster team, but
the only person you can really pick on is Brunson.
I would kind of move OG to the bench and Dante in to the 2 spot. That's what I would do if I was the coach. But
then OG's my 6th man then of the year. Then
for sure. But that's my point with the Knicks. It's like who do you pick? Like Josh Hart? Do you pick OG? Do you pick?
Yeah, and I think it was easy to play them because they were hot and streaky last year, and you had everyone hurt, so there was no Tibbs didn't. I think the Knicks won't be as good as people think they will be
for sure
in the playoffs because Tibbs. If they're healthy, Tibbs actually has to sub and know who to sub.
Yeah.
And there's a chance that they could have the wrong player in at the wrong time. Last year, there was no chance of that because they didn't have that depth. You know what
anyway.
I mean? It'll be a different. It's the one time where more talent is. It's definitely, obviously, you want it. But it'll be interesting how they match up because you can go defense and then, you might match up well against Boston. But that lineup I just named, I don't know how they stack up with Boston going bucket for bucket.
Nah, I don't. Yeah, like you said, I don't think they're a real playoff contender.
And it's hard for me because
now regular season they might end up with the 1 seed, 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah. Like they lose to Philly.
Yeah, I couldn't take them over Philly. Nah, cause no. You weren't saying that when the move happened.
Nah, I don't. So let me put it to you like this: the Knicks, I have them. Like, there's certain teams they would beat. Like, bro, they would give us a shot, bro. But
they wouldn't.
I'm more scared of the Knicks than the Sixers because we struggle with that play hard stuff. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like how we struggle with the Heat. The Heat were not the best team, second best team in the East in those years.
No,
it was obviously the Bucks, but like. The Sixers kind of try to match us in scoring, or they don't
really exploit a mismatch.
Exactly. So other than obviously the Marcus Smarts or the Drew Holidays or the Derek Whites, the way teams that beat us in the past is, like they'll just throw weird stuff at us. Like Spoelstra would run a zone, and then you have these players like Highsmith and Tyler Hero rookie year. You have these players coming out of nowhere just giving us buckets because they play so hard and they play defense. That's low-key what the Knicks do.
Yeah.
The Sixers, I'm not scared of them at all because they're gonna try to match us with finesse, and
y'all got too much of that. Y'all got too much perimeter scoring.
You're trying to play our game, and we're better at our game than you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it's not a matchup problem against them.
Yeah.
And I'm not scared of Embiid later in games. If that makes, I don't know. So I would be very interested to see if the Bucks played the Knicks.
The Bucks is that team that no one's talking about just because it's like they haven't been.
There's a lot of interesting matchups, I would say. That's all I'm going to say. There's a lot of interesting matchups in the East. And just like the West was this past year, I think this year both conferences will be matchup based when it comes to the playoffs, where the Nuggets would have beat the Mavericks this year.
Yeah.
It's all about your path.
Yeah. How you get there. Yep, I agree. Next pick, Defensive Player of the Year. Who you got?
Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, okay.
And he was snubbed this past year. This should be his 2-time MVP in 2 years.
Yeah.
But he'll finally get it.
Yeah. I mean,
and if Rudy Gobert gets a Defensive Player of the Year, I might just watch NFL for the rest of my life.
Because we've seen it at this point. Like, there's nothing else to say. There's nothing else to say.
I've never heard of someone. Okay, let me put you like this. His Olympic coach stated that he was benched for a better defensive lineup.
As a NBA Defensive Player of the Year.
As a Defensive Player of the Year. In an era where we're supposed to value switching 1 through 5.
Exactly.
So don't give me a matchup thing. Because if you give me matchups, you're proving my point why he shouldn't be Defensive Player of the Year, because we're in an era where we have players who can guard 1 through 5. So why are we giving a player who could guard just the 5?
Defensive Player of the Year. Because he sits paint. Yeah, no, that's... But actually...
You want to hear a statistic? that a lot of people want to talk about?
Let me hear it.
The San Antonio Spurs are around in the 20s for defensive
Rating
in the league, like defensive rank.
Okay.
If you take just the minutes Wembanyama's on the floor, they are number 1 in the league. Just the minutes Wembanyama's on the floor.
Wow, I didn't know that.
What else do I need to hear?
Yeah.
As a voter.
Yeah. All right, well, I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's weird because I didn't even think of that guy. I just thought about who I value most as a defender. But, yeah, that's probably a good pick. But I'm going to go with Rudy Gobert's teammate. I'm going to go with Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's going to have performances. Well, I feel like if there was a defensive player of the year, if it was rewarded during playoffs, it would be better for some of these wing defenders.
Yeah.
Because you could see them switch on to, like, the best perimeter
they got
scoring
KD,
guys.
but we got Jaden McDaniels.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he showed out.
Yeah.
But it's just like, when you look at defensive player of the year, it's mostly statistical based.
Yeah.
So you're looking at those blocks, you're looking at those steals, like, hopefully Jaden McDaniels, once again.
And Wemby had more steals and just was there with him in blocks. Sorry, I just can't get over that.
Nah, yeah. I mean, you're right. So
I don't want to hear about team defense success.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it.
Rudy Gobert was the anchor to that number 1 Minnesota Timberwolves.
Like, bro, congrats. You had the best wing defenders, Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels, funneling everything to you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, no, I agree.
Because Rudy
Gobert, Chuck E. Cheese application.
Like, bro, Rudy Gobert in Charlotte is not.
No. Oh, my gosh. Don't ever come to Charlotte. And if you do come to Charlotte, move from Charlotte because I don't want to see you ever play in Charlotte, bro. I swear.
Bro, every time we talk about Rudy Gobert, like, in the right way, the correct way, how we do, I think about when A6 was on the pod and was like, why do y'all...
Bro, it's just, what is there to like about him?
Wait, what did he say? That's my guy, though.
Bro.
That's my guy.
He
said, bro, why would you not want to play with Rudy Gobert?
What the fuck? Bro, hey, listen, bro, if I'm driving to the paint and I dish it off to my big and he leaves it short and he's 7'3" and leaves it short of the rim, okay. Bro, take me off the floor, bro.
Yeah,
After that, bro, the defensive player of the year can't play offense. Or defense. Like, bro, okay.
Like, the Timberwolves were benching him at the end of games because of the defense. Like, why?
Because they had a better defender and
come on. Bro. Like,
I don't want to hear it, bro.
I don't
want to hear it. All right.
Let's move on.
Last pick, most improved player. Who you got?
I'm going to choose J-Dub because I think that's what it will be.
Yeah.
But I think Wemby. But I don't know. But I don't know if Wemby will get it. Simply, I don't know.
Because I feel like he'll be too good to get it in a way. And I feel like his rookie year went a little bit too well for him to get that.
Because it would be, I don't know if they're going to let, and once again, it's possible, but I don't know if they're going to let Wemby be in Defensive Player of the Year,
but I kind of feel like J-Dub is in the same.
MVP.
You don't think J-Dub is in the same boat? I feel like he had too good of a season last year for him to also get it with the guys that just came into Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and then you could throw Chet in there.
You see my point?
It's hard because the other guys that I had on my list to take a leap, they're older.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard to predict at 24 years old. Or they're just
I looked at it in a different way. I looked up the draft class.
Okay.
So I looked up 2022 first because I feel like third year is usually when they hit their stride.
Third year is, yeah.
And,
third year is what they're going to be.
Yeah, 2022, I didn't like anybody in that class. So I was like, okay, let's just go to 2023. I like Jaime Jaquez to come out as the most improved player. Obviously, first to second year, I don't know how frequent that award comes to those type of players. But he has an opportunity in Miami to really step up, especially with just how they're going to be trying to win this year with Jimmy Butler, with Bam Adebayo, with Tyler Hero taking shots. You're also going to have to be that fourth option to step in, and it's going to be so much more easy for him to get buckets, honestly, in that system. So that's who I got winning.
Another person that I thought of, and I took him out because his coach is bad and doesn't necessarily know how to use young talent in the right way unless you're the greatest shooter on the planet. I thought about Jonathan Kuminga.
Okay, yeah.
I think he could take a big leap. I think he could be an all-star caliber player anywhere.
We've been saying that, though. I feel like it's
I think he, like, low-key
it's not in Golden State.
Yeah, like, I think, like, low-key, if he went somewhere else right now, like, for instance, like, let's say you put him on the Bulls instead of, like, you know what I mean?
He'd get hit. Yeah, I agree.
But right now, he's at the 3-4,
Yeah.
And the Golden State offense, they use the 3-4 to be a playmaker. He doesn't need to be the playmaker.
He needs to put that
yes, he needs to put
basket.
the ball in the basket, and his playmaking needs to be just kickouts.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be running the Draymond you know what I mean. He needs to be
the dribble handoff.
Yeah, he needs to be put in a position to be a elite driver.
Yeah,
because that's his elite skill.
Yeah,
and he's not allowed to use it as much because he's so dribble handoff looking for
Steph.
Rightfully so, the greatest shooter in the world. But you know,
yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. And peace out.